Today from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren Patterson.
Hey, John Trumbull, how are you?
I'm all right. Had an eventful week. We saw each other a few nights back. We were at a comedy show together. And, we saw each other IRL, as the kids say, because we saw each other at the monthly Non-Productive comedy show. Happens first Thursday of every month at Just Jake's in beautiful Montclair, New Jersey. Yeah, and I went kind of on impulse. I was like, I'll go see my friends, and I just picked up a side gig where it's going to take up most of my Thursday night. So I'm like, this will probably be my last chance to go for a little while. So I think I'm going to go. And it's a good thing I did because I ended up doing a few minutes. So
that's right. You got to dust off the old the jokes and dust off the old cobwebs. How did it feel there, my man?
It was pretty good. I just it was unexpected. So I was like, okay, well, I just needed like a few minutes to build a set. Our buddy John Minus, who's been on the show, he invited me because one of the comics couldn't show up for whatever reason, and so he texted me during the show, and then later he kind of comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, did you look at your phone?" I was like, "No, because I'm at a show."
Yeah,
and then he was like, "Oh, well, do you want to do a few minutes?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Just give me a little time to figure out what I'm going to do." Then nice. I was like, okay, what jokes of mine do I remember? Okay, I'll do those.
That's the way.
I'll do them in this order. That's good. I've roughly figured out the time.
Dude, you're a natural.
Yeah, so.
Okay, and and you did well, my friend. People loved you loved the jokes. You rocked the Casbah.
All right. I haven't listened back to my recording of it yet, but yeah, I got some laughs. It went all right.
Yeah,
I wasn't surrounded by too many people who were like, "Oh, we've heard this shit," so that was good.
Boo! We heard this.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. So that felt pretty good. That was a good way to go into the weekend.
Yeah. Dude, you rocked the house. It was fantastic. They loved you, kid. You're hot as a pistol.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you did A-okay. You did fantastic. So, hopefully...
One of these days, we got to do, the same show again.
Yeah, we do.
Because you were there, but you didn't go up. And
I was busy with some other family stuff I was going through. And also, I haven't been writing as constantly as I should be. I'm just, kind of busy with other stuff. I need to kind of sit down. I think I talked to a friend of the podcast, Chris Lambert, who was there that night. And I was basically telling him, I've been kind of in a rut and I'm kind of at the point where I have a good set. I know I like it, but I'm kind of almost getting tired of saying the same old jokes again. And
you feel it. Yeah, you can reach a point where it's like, okay, I know these jokes work, but you start to feel a little hacky for still doing them.
Yeah, I don't want to be on autopilot like that, and I don't.
Yeah,
that's
honestly the toughest thing for me is figuring out when to drop a joke from your act. I mean, it's in a way it's simpler if you're a bigger name, because then it's if you do a TV appearance or if you cut an album or something, then obviously you drop that material. But when you're just kind of working Joes like us, it's a little tougher.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I made a vow to myself, before the next monthly Non-Productive comedy show in beautiful Montclair, New Jersey at Just Jake's. Next one, October 5th.
Yes.
Buy your tickets now. So before that one, I'm gonna have a new set. I'm gonna push myself, and just dedicate some time. Really, give it all I got, and have some new stuff ready by next month. Whether it be
that is a goal, my friend. That is a goal.
I mean, not even an entire brand new 10-minute set. Just
okay.
just 3 or 4 new jokes, just
Well, yeah,
something.
okay, that's good. That's a reasonable goal. Yeah,
Yeah. Like I mean, I'm not like Louis C.K. I'm not going to have a whole new hour, but
yeah,
like or I'm not like Louis C.K. in many ways, but
yeah.
like I just don't. But
This
yeah,
is true.
yes, I want to have like at least 3 or 4 brand spanking new jokes that I could just try out, see how it feels, just so I can feel something again, man. I want to feel
Yeah.
alive, baby.
Yeah, well, no, okay, well, you're a comic, so you're dead inside. So I mean,
Oh,
let's keep the expectations
that's
reasonable.
right. Yes,
Uh,
I
but
am
but I
the.
but I think it is good to like always be trying something new in your set. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I went up last night and I was like, okay, I had this new stuff in the James Bond bit that I wanted to try, and I don't think I've tried that yet. So I'm gonna try that, and I'm just gonna yeah, and it went well. Actually, Chris Lambert said like, oh, that was my favorite part of your set, and I was like, great, that was the new shit. So.
yeah. He even mentioned that how much he liked it. He even said, "Oh, he should do this one thing here when he does the." I'll tell you off mic about it. But yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Please let me know. I'd love to hear. He didn't tell me that specifically, but yeah, if he has a tag or something that he thinks I should add, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, probably enough comedy shop talk.
Oh, these mics on? Are we doing a
Yeah,
podcast?
I know.
Okay.
We kind of went on a. We went on a tangent, as we tend to do here at the SNL Nerds. Welcome, welcome.
Mhm.
This is still ostensibly a podcast about Saturday Night Live and the movies and TV shows that people from Saturday Night Live have made. So this week, since the great Bob Barker just recently passed away, we decided to do a movie that Bob Barker has a cameo in, 1996's Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, and as it turns out, we doing this podcast because doing this movie because of Bob Barker's passing, and also as I learned recently, 2 days ago was Adam Sandler's birthday. His birthday
Oh,
was His birthday was September 9th.
oh, well, that's neat. I didn't realize that, but
So yeah.
that's a cool bit of serendipity there.
Yeah.
So,
So happy 57th birthday to Adam Sandler.
happy 57th birthday to Adam Sandler.
Uh,
Now,
yeah.
like you were telling me you have seen this movie before. I had not. This was my very first time watching this movie.
Yeah, because I think we've said it on the podcast before. Like, I feel like with you, your history with Adam Sandler, it's kind of, I guess is the way to
Yeah,
say it.
pretty spotty. I really like. I knew from SNL that his stuff wasn't really to my taste, so I usually haven't made too much of an effort to watch his movies. Like I've seen The Wedding Singer. I probably saw that on TV. I know I watched the
Uh,
was it Blended?
that's the one with the blended family. Yeah.
Yeah, they like. Do they go to Hawaii or Africa in that or
I think they
something?
go to Africa. Terry
Yeah,
Crews
okay, I've
is in
seen
it.
that. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. I've
Uh,
seen 51st Dates, and I saw Anger Management. That was more because I'm a big fan of Jack Nicholson.
mm, I,
Um,
get, I get that.
yeah, I was like, okay, my dislike of Adam Sandler versus my love of Jack Nicholson, which will win out? And my love of Jack won. Um, and I've seen some of his straight acting roles like Spanglish and Funny People, of course.
Right. Punch Drunk Love.
Never seen it.
Wow, that's the big one. That's the one where even like the harshest of critics were like, "Oh, Adam Sandler's actually pretty good in this."
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It might be interesting to see that now that I have more of a background in Adam Sandler's oeuvre.
yes,
Um,
or even like Uncut Gems. That's the one a lot of people were like, "Oh no, he's actually does have some acting chops. He's not
I
just."
I
Well,
remember
but
that getting some good notices. This of course this is still like early Adam Sandler
yeah,
movie.
this
So it's like he had two modes. It was shouty, angry Adam Sandler, and then whispery, sincere voice Adam Sandler.
yeah,
And those were kind of his two modes in this
yeah.
movie.
He was either like a man child or a unhinged lunatic.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of range yet, I would
Yeah.
say. I think that's fair to say. And I think probably Adam Sandler would even agree with that.
I think so. I mean, in the early days, yes. I think he's changed a little bit. He switched it up a bit as he's gotten old. But yeah, like early Sandler,
Yeah.
it's definitely those two modes he had, and but people loved it. So
Yeah.
this movie came out February 16th, 1996, written by Adam Sandler and his good friend Tim Herlihy, and
Hmm.
directed by Dennis Dugan, who works with Adam Sandler on many other films. Like, I think,
Yeah,
like,
this was the first film they teamed up together.
yeah,
Like he originally wanted the person who did Billy Madison to do it, but then they turned it down, I think. And so I think the studio recommended Dennis Dugan, and I was reading like Dennis Dugan had previously wanted to cast Adam Sandler in a bit part in another movie, and Sandler didn't get it, but Sandler remembered. He was like, "Hey, you want to cast me when I was nobody, so I'm good with you."
that's a great. That's a great Sandler impression. I'm good with
I,
you.
it turned it a little into James Cagney, honestly, but
A little bit.
I'm good with you, Muggsy. Uh,
Very good. But yeah, like if you look at Dennis Dugan's filmography, it's
yeah,
like almost exclusively Adam Sandler films.
yeah.
Like
I mean, I
that's
will give Adam Sandler this. The man is extremely loyal to his friends. He's got his friends' backs.
that's
If you
true.
are if you are buds with Adam Sandler, you have a job for life, apparently.
I can't I can't fault him on that. Like I mean
Yeah,
Hollywood is full of backstabbing psychopaths who don't give a shit about each other, but
yeah,
Adam Sandler cares about his friends. How can you hate on that? That's
yeah,
commendable.
yeah. I mean, even uh, um, oh, what's the name of the actor who played Biff in Back to the Future? Thomas F. Wilson. Thomas F. Wilson. He's a stand up comedian too, and he's got a very funny song called Biff's Question Song, which is all about these questions that he gets incessantly asked. And one of the lines in the song is like, who's the nicest famous person you know? Adam Sandler. Who is the biggest jerk? Gary Busey. So yeah. So apparently Adam Sandler, a very nice guy in real life.
Okay, I respect that. I respect
Hmm.
that. But yeah.
And
So
go Google Biff's question song and laugh. It's a
yes,
funny song.
have a good laugh, my friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, Happy Gilmore. So this movie had a budget of 12 mil, made 38 mil. I remember this film coming out and being like a big deal. Like this was like with this and Billy Madison, which came out previously, which were both huge hits. Like this was the ascent of the dynasty that would be Happy Madison.
So this was like his second big film, right? Because like Billy Madison was his first big film, and that was a surprise hit. And then this
Right.
one came, and then that one was a surprise hit. And then what came after this? Was it Wedding Singer?
Let me check. I don't think so,
Okay.
but it might be. But yeah, like it was one of those things where I mean, and he still kind of has it to this day. But what his comedies, like the critics didn't get it. The critics were like, "This is lame. This is sophomoric. This is
Hmm.
this boorish humor." But
Yeah.
like his fan base loved it. The fans that loved his comedy albums and like loved him on SNL, they stood by him. And like even though the critics weren't wild about it, the movies made a ton of dough.
Yeah. I
And
mean, especially when you're smart enough to keep your budget low like that, it doesn't take too much to become a hit. And I mean that sounds like faint praise, but I mean,
right.
he knew his brand. He knew what kind of movies he wanted to make, and he knew what kind of movies his audience wanted to see him in, and he just gave him a steady diet of that stuff.
Yeah. So his first like kind of starring role or leading role was the film. I mean, he'd done movies before Billy Madison, but the one like he
Hmm.
was headlining was Billy Madison, then Happy Gilmore, then he did that movie Bulletproof with Damon Wayans, and then The Wedding
Barely
Singer.
remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
But Bulletproof was more of an action film than a comedy, right?
Yeah, I think they were trying to go for like a 48 hours Lethal Weapon comedy buddy cop type of thing. And but yeah, I remember that
Right.
movie. That movie didn't do that great.
Huh. Yeah. No, I've never seen that one, so I don't.
Uh,
I don't know much about it.
yeah, not saying, but yeah, but then Wedding Singer came and that was a huge hit. I remember that for
Mhm.
sure. Like people loving that.
Yeah.
Then Dirty Work, then The Water Boy, and then that was it. I mean, The Water Boy made all the money.
Hmm. That was like the biggest hit out of this bunch.
Like The Water Boy, I definitely remember like that made way more money than anybody even imagined a Sandler movie could make. Like I think at that point Hollywood was like, all right, there's something to this guy. Like we gotta get in on the Sandler business.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean that
yeah,
he was pretty cemented as a star by that point.
yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, I would say the Water Boy like solidified it. That like, all right, he's a draw for
okay,
sure.
I thought that happened a little sooner, like with this film or Wedding Singer. But okay,
I mean, no, I would say Wedding Singer, but like I think maybe Waterboy, it was more like he got maybe like a bigger audience or just like more well known or like nationally he was like, all right, this dude is the next big thing, like for sure.
okay, all right, all right.
But but yeah.
So this film it's about Happy Gilmore. He's a bad skater, but he wants to be a pro hockey player.
Yeah, like I think the character of Happy was actually a little interesting because he's a dude, like you said, he wants to be a hockey player. He was taught hockey by his dad. His dad loved hockey. He loved hockey so much, like his mom left him over it because he was so obsessed with it.
Right.
Um, he took, and like his dad is the one that trained him to do this like wicked hard slap shot.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was, I don't know why I said wicked hard like that, like I'm from Boston, but but yeah,
Wicked hard.
this wicked hard slap shot kid.
Yeah.
And so he was
Park
able
the
to,
car on the Harvard yard.
yeah, exactly. You get it.
Yeah.
You've been to Dorchester, but yeah, like he was able to do this really hard slap shot, and then after his dad died after getting hit by a loose hockey puck at a game, he had to live with his
A loose hockey puck that Happy hit. Let's not bury the lead here, right?
Oh, did it? I thought they were at a regular hockey game.
Wasn't that one that Happy hit, or was he just a kid in the stands?
I think he was just a kid in the stands. They were at another hockey game.
All right, so he didn't actually kill his father. All right then.
Right.
Okay.
No, he is not
The movie's hitting us with a lot of narration early on.
No manslaughter. Not
okay.
No manslaughter.
All right, that's it. But Happy does beat people up with little or no reason. So
yeah, because that's the thing that they kind of lay out throughout the movie, that he has a very
kind of lay out and gloss over that our protagonist is an unlikable asshole.
Yeah, like he has a very violent temper, but he means well. Like once he gets the anger out, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that."
Yeah. He runs hot, but he apologizes very quickly, and we see this early on. Like his girlfriend is leaving him, and he calls her on his buzzer intercom as she's leaving the building. And he's like, "Well, why don't you go and get out of my life?" And then, like the next breath, he's like, "I'm sorry, baby. We shouldn't. Oh, we shouldn't fight. Oh no, why do we fight? Why are we
fighting?" Very good. Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like Adam Sandler is in the room with us.
Well, thank you.
but like he has the anger, he has the drive, and all the vitriol it takes, intensity. He has all that it takes to be a good hockey player, but
he doesn't have any skills outside of just hitting the puck really hard.
Yeah, he can hit the puck really hard, but he can't skate. He can't handle the puck. He's just like all rage and just anger.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of anger to get out, and he's because he can't ever get accepted. He can't ever make the pro leagues as a hockey player. He has a lot of diverse day jobs, and one of them is he works in construction. Well, we see like a montage of him working various day jobs, and it's just basically like, oh well, what are jobs where Adam Sandler can pretend things are his penis?
Get it? Because it's funny with the penis.
He's working at a gas station, and the nozzle is his penis, and he's working at a construction site, and then the nail gun is his penis, and he's firing off the nail gun willy nilly, and he shoots Richard Kiel in the head.
Oops. Oh yeah, Richard Kiel's in this movie, guys.
I had no idea Richard Kiel was in this movie. Jaws from the James Bond films is in this freaking movie, and I was very happy to see Richard Kiel. It's always a pleasure to see him. I got to see him at a science fiction horror convention once upon a time, and it is something to see a guy that size in real life, because he was like what, like 7'6", something, or some
Oh,
7, like over 7 feet, I believe.
oh my God!
I'm gonna have to
Wow.
look that up. I gotta get his height right.
Oh boy. Yeah, he's a loud man. He was a big feller.
I mean, his hands were the size of like a ham.
Good
He
grief.
was 7 foot 2 inches tall.
Ah.
Yeah, and when I saw him at this convention, it was in an outdoor tent because it was like during the warmer months, and he was in like an armchair because he was like too big and heavy to fit in, like, just like a regular folding chair or something like that they give most guests.
Good gravy.
But he was very funny in this movie. I was impressed. I was like, I want more Richard Kiel in this movie, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, he was good. He
Yeah.
was. It's awesome that they showed him with showed a little the comic. He was able to show his comic chops, as it were.
Well, I knew, from the James Bond movies, and he also had a guest spot on the Monkees. I knew that he was a funny actor. I knew that he was
Oh,
very funny. If like his episode of the Monkees, I can't remember the title of it, but he plays like a Frankenstein monster, basically, and he's very funny in that. Oh, it was I Was a Teenage Monster. It's listed here on his Wikipedia page. So there we
okay.
go. Yeah, but I mean, because of his size, he played the heavy a lot, so it's fun to just see him play just a guy.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's just like a regular dude. It's pretty
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah. So like Happy's a guy he wants desperately to play in the NHL, but he never makes it, no matter how hard he tries. And he
yeah,
also he also looks out for his grandmother, who was the person he grew up with after his dad died, and he really loves his grandma and he really likes to take after her. So basically, one day we find out that grandma has not been paying her taxes in over a decade, and she owes
yeah.
270 no 2700, how much is it? $270,000 in taxes, and like
In back taxes, and she
in
has to
taxes.
pay it back in 90 days. Yeah, yeah. Sandler just comes by to his grandmother's house, and they're taking all of her furniture out of the house. They say they're going to take the house next, and yeah, and the tax guy is a near unrecognizable Robert Smigel because he's clean shaven.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. It's
like I really only recognized him for the voice because he looks very different without his beard.
yeah, yeah. No, he's like kind of like a shorter hair. He's like, he's like wearing a suit. He doesn't look
Hmm.
like doesn't have a dog puppet on his hand. It's hard to recognize him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He's not doing like the clutch cargo bit or anything like that.
yeah,
Like on
yeah.
Conan O'Brien back in the day, but
Mhm.
yeah. So the tax guy says you can buy the house back if you can pay the 270,000 in back taxes within
Right.
90 days.
Right.
So
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 and
we
yeah. So I mean, so until then, Grandma has to leave the house. So Happy puts her into a living facility, a rest home that's ran by a mustachioed Ben Stiller.
an uncredited Ben Stiller playing Hal L, the orderly at the rest home. Yeah, who is like secretly abusing all the people for, I assume, nefarious reasons. They don't really get into why he's doing this. Well, he's like making some profit on the side. He's having all the the folks in the rest home do arts and crafts, and then he's like selling that stuff on the side.
Yeah, it's basically a sweatshop. He
Yeah,
turned the resting home into his own private sweatshop.
yeah, yeah. So not a good guy, and he's also sort of threatening the residents, so they have to keep mum about the abuses they
That's
say.
right. That's right. So, loose lips sink ships there, Nana.
Yeah, yeah. And so he there's a thing where he challenges, like, the guys who are unloading the furniture from his grandmother's house are slacking off, and Sandler's like, "Hey, you got to get back to work because I got to watch the game." And they're just like hitting golf balls. They're goofing off, and Sandler like hits a golf ball. And he's like, "Okay, if I get further than you on this drive, you guys have to get back to work."
Yeah.
and he does that, and he hits it like really, really far, like 400 yards, which, according to this movie, is a lot.
Yeah, it
I
is.
guess I know nothing about golf,
Don't do the
so
math. Just take the movie at its word. And also, one of the movers, Will
Will
Sasso
Sasso, yeah,
from Mad TV. I've always liked Will Sasso. I feel like he should have been a bigger like star or something.
he's a funny guy. I've liked Will Sasso in pretty much everything I've seen him in. Yeah, he's an underrated comedic
Yeah,
actor.
I know. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Will, you should have. Hollywood should have given you the moon and the stars, baby.
He's in a very funny episode of How I Met Your Mother. He played Curly in the Three Stooges movie that they did a while back.
That's right.
And did a very good job from what I could see. I mean, he had the voice down, definitely.
Yeah,
And
no, yeah, he was solid.
yeah, it's yeah. It was nice to see him in this little bit part in the mid-90s.
Yeah,
So yeah, he hits the golf ball successfully, and then he starts sort of as a side hustle. He goes to a driving range and starts hitting golf balls and betting to earn money.
right.
Uh, and if you like seeing Adam Sandler driving 400-yard golf balls, this is the movie for you because he does it a lot.
He does.
The movie thinks we'll never get sick of it.
We gotta. Yeah, you gotta
The
drive.
movie is wrong, but the movie thinks that we will never get sick of seeing that.
You gotta drive it home. No pun intended. Haha.
Yeah, but again, that is the only thing that he is good at in this sport. He has no short game, as the movie keeps telling us.
Right. Like It's not that he. It's not like he even wants to be a golfer. He really wants to be, like a hockey player. He doesn't
Right.
hold golf in any high regard at all. He thinks it's like, a whack ass sport full of rich
Right.
dopes in colorful pants, and like
Yeah,
he has no love for it whatsoever.
that's true.
But somebody.
One subtle thing I did like is that throughout this entire movie, he holds his golf club like a hockey puck,
Oh,
like a hockey stick. Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right. He does do that.
Yeah, and it's never commented on, and I like that. That for an Adam Sandler movie, that's a pretty subtle joke.
That's right. Yeah. See,
Yeah,
he makes you laugh and think.
let's not go that far.
Okay. All right. But yeah, but like one person who sees him at the driving range to see like the potential he does have is Chubbs, played by the great Carl Weathers.
Yes.
We get Apollo Creed up in here.
Yeah, we're getting a stew going, people.
Mm.
And yeah, Chubbs, he's a golf instructor. He's making his living as a golf instructor. He used to be a golf pro, but we find out in his backstory that an alligator bit his hand off, but he took the gator's eye. And
he carries it in a jar.
yeah, and if you think that's going to come back into play later on in the movie, you would be right.
Mm.
And he also has an artificial hand, a wooden hand, which is probably one of the shoddiest movie special effects I've ever seen, because he obviously, Carl Weathers, has a full-length arm with just an extra long sleeve, and he is holding this wooden hand in his hand.
Just suspend the disbelief, baby. Come on, man.
As the former sports pro with an artificial hand goes, I would say Kingpin did it better, which I think came out after this movie, but I got to give it to them in the artificial hand sweepstakes.
Okay. Ooh, Kingpin. Future movie review, perchance, maybe?
Sure. I love that movie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's got Bill Murray. It's got Randy Quaid. It's an SNL alum movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I think we did it. I think we got something here.
Okay. Oh,
okay.
Wait. Well, are we done? All right, great. Yeah. Well, hey, tune in next time for the SNL nerds.
No.
Until then, what? Oh.
Come back.
Right. Oh, we have to finish this movie? Okay.
Yes, we're just getting started here, man.
Okay, well, you can't blame me for trying. And then we soon meet our villain of the movie, with Mr. Christopher McDonald as Scooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin.
I have Shooter in my notes, and I said Scooter. I apologize, all you Shooter McGavin fans.
No worries. And also, quick note, I just looked it up. Kingpin came out the same year as this movie.
Ooh, okay. But if it came out after February, man, 1996 was a big movie for artificial hands.
Yeah, there was something going.
Wow.
Yeah, this movie, Happy Gilmore, came out in February. Kingpin came out in July.
Wow.
So I don't know what that means, but
Two movies starring SNL alums featuring former professional sports stars who lose their hands in unlikely accidents and have an artificial hand.
that's got it. It can't be a coincidence. It just
But
can't.
Woody Harrelson had a rubber hand, so completely different thing.
Yes, totally different.
Totally. Yeah, the running gag in this movie is that Carl Weathers has a wooden hand, and we have mishaps and wacky hijinks ensue, and he's like gluing the fingers and stuff back on, and it's in bad shape by the end of the movie.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so Shooter McGavin, he's our villain. Of course, he's the stereotypical, smug rich guy who thinks, of course, the Happy Gilmore is beneath him and below him, and he thinks he's better than him. Just he hits on all the smug villain rich guy tropes in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does a nice job with it. I enjoy Christopher McDonald. I've always enjoyed him like popping up and stuff. I think I first noticed him when he was on Star Trek: The Next Generation. He's in Yesterday's Enterprise, which is one of the more famous episodes of Star Trek: Next Generation.
Nice. Yeah. He's always good. People always. I mean, he's been around for a while. He's still doing it, and like he's well respected. He does a good job in things he's and pretty much everything he's in.
He's a well respected man about town.
Oh shit! You getting the kinks up in here? All right.
Yep.
Tight. And so also we also have the love interest of the film, Virginia Venet, who's the who's the director of PR for the Golf Pro, and that's played by Modern Family's own Julie Bowen.
Yeah. This is, I guess, kind of an early role for her.
Yeah, she looks super young in this in this film, so I would assume this is like one of her earlier films.
Yeah, this is pre-Ed.
Yes, I would.
You remember Ed?
Ed.
Lawyer ran a bowling alley. David Letterman.
Oh, that's like late 90s, right?
Yeah, I think that was late 90s.
Yeah, this is definitely before Ed. But
yeah, it was what's his name from The Flash, and Michael Ian Black was in it.
Yeah, damn it. I'll look it up. I'll look it all up.
Yeah. I can
But yeah.
No, I'll look it up. I brought us down this Ed.
Yeah.
This Ed Road. Tom Cavanaugh.
That's it. The great Tom Cavanaugh.
Of Scrubs and The Flash fame. Yeah.
Of course.
It's a good show. 4 seasons, 83 episodes. Unfairly forgotten. It's just you don't see it pop up anywhere. I don't know if that's like a music thing or what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's one of those films that like or one of those shows that has like a cult following, like Pushing Daisies and whatnot.
Yeah, that was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, I mean, in this movie, Julie Bowen does an all right job. She's pretty much, the lady in this.
Yeah, she's just the girl. It's, I mean, let's face it, it's a pretty underwritten role. I mean, I put on my notes at one point, I was like, why the F does she like Happy Gilmore? Because it's like how usually in romantic comedies it's like, the lady hates the guy and then she sort of gradually is like, okay, well maybe he's not so bad, and then by the end of the movie they're in love. In this movie it happens in like a scene.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much she falls for him just because that's what it says to do in the script.
We're on page 50 of the script now. Time for me to fall in love with you.
Right.
Like she says, okay, we can go out as friends. I mean, she's being pretty polite, but she's also like setting her boundaries. And then he takes her to a hockey rink, and then he has them kill the lights, and they play
Endless Love.
Endless Love. That's right. and then that's apparently all it takes for Julie Bowen to fall in love with you,
That's
folks.
it. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Bing, bang, boom. Yeah, so I'm looking up Julie Bowen's filmography now. Yeah, this is pretty much the first movie she's done. She did
Okay.
she did like some looks like a film short back in '92. Then did a bunch of TV, uh,
Yeah.
Acapulco Heat,
Yeah.
uh, an episode of
Ed.
Ed, who could forget Ed?
Yeah.
Episode of Party of Five, and then
Okay. Everybody wants to be free. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, Happy Gilmore. That's like the first movie she's done, and after that, it was like
Mm.
Multiplicity, American Werewolf in Paris. Huh.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. So this is her first movie, I'd say.
Okay. All right. Well, we're getting in on the ground floor of the Julie Bowen business.
That's
So
right. That's right.
yeah. So uh, Happy he at this tryout for at this tournament for the Pro Tour. I'm probably going to mess up all the golf terms in this because again, don't know nothing about golf. Happy gets a hole in one on a par four, which again the movie says very impressive. So I'm going to take their word for it. Yeah, I know. Like a par four, it's like if you're a good golfer, it should take you 4 shots to get in the hole.
Right.
So
But yeah. So like basically, he can hit the ball really hard and get those holes in one, but his short game, his putting, is
yeah,
not very good because, as we've said before, he's a very violent rage filled man. He doesn't have the patience
right.
it takes to do like a little putt, like a little just a little tap it in. He
Yeah,
can't do that because he's just all go 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 testosterone.
yeah,
But
yeah,
throughout all that, he's able to make the tour, and like that's fantastic because like the only reason he did this is so he can make money to get the house back for grandma.
yeah, yeah. But he plays well enough to go on the Pro Tour because he can earn enough money there. He's Happy's like, hey, I want to get some of those big checks. Why don't you give me some of those big checks? I mean, I don't care what size they are.
Give me the big check. Give me the
Yeah,
big check.
give me the big check.
I want the big
Um,
check.
yeah,
Uh,
and he goes on a Pro Tour. We briefly see Kevin Nealon in the movie, who just kind of shows up and then just disappears from the movie after that.
Yeah, that was a little weird because like at his first big match, the AT&T International,
Yeah,
we see Happy. He doesn't have a caddy because he didn't know that he was supposed to bring his own caddy. So he finds a homeless man, and he makes the homeless guy his caddy, or a
yeah.
man without home. Is that the more PC way to say it? I'm not sure.
I think you can still call him a homeless man. Sure.
All right.
Uh,
But yeah, so he has the bearded hobo to carry his golf clubs, and
mhm.
but yeah, and then Kevin Nealon just pops in as Gary Potter is his character's name, but we don't. I guess he's just another golfer because
Yeah.
they never say who he is or what he's doing there.
He doesn't figure into the plot at all. It's just like briefly, oh, hey, here's Kevin Nealon. He does like maybe 2 scenes, and then Kevin Nealon disappears for the rest of the movie. I'm just
Yeah,
like, did Kevin Nealon just have a day free in his schedule or something? I don't. I just wonder what the story was behind this. It's
yeah, it's a weird little pop, and although I will admit I do like Kevin Nealon. Like I feel like he's kind of, as far as SNL history goes, he's kind of been forgotten a little bit. I think just because I think his style of humor is just so very kind of dry that
yeah,
a lot of people can find it kind of boring. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'd say people need to give him another chance because like his humor was like pretty spot on, especially like the Mr. Subliminal stuff or just his jokes in general. I think were really good, but maybe weren't as
yeah.
flashy as like a Dana Carvey at the
I
time.
did. I did like him better as a sketch player than I did when he was on Weekend Update. He's not one of my favorite Weekend Update anchors.
I could see
Um,
that. Yeah. Again,
especially following Dennis Miller. I mean, Dennis Miller in the '80s. Dennis Miller was my guy.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't know about
so
now, but yeah, back then.
no, he's not my guy now. But back in the '80s, he was my guy on the show. That was the Weekend Update that I grew up on.
Right. I hear you.
So let's see. Let's see. My next note: I have 36 minutes in, and I'm already sick of Happy hitting long drives.
Well,
It
okay,
happens a lot.
that's what he's known for. It's crazy. The people love it, and
I
we
know,
see
but
that.
I got the point after like the first three times.
Yeah, but we see that like people really enjoy it, and like as he goes on the tour and he gets slightly better and better, like we see that he's bringing in crowds, he's bringing in younger audiences, he's bringing in, as one of the announcers call it, a what like a, people with a diverse background of financial funds.
Well, yeah, it's a more blue collar fan base
Yeah.
because it's basically like hockey fans are starting to follow golf
Yes.
because he's like got the temperament of a hockey player. He'll fight at the drop of a hat. He'll swear a blue streak.
Right. And economically diverse crowd
Yeah,
he's bringing
yeah,
in.
and they can get kind of rowdy, like, and with golf, people get very quiet when people are about to putt and stuff, and yeah, so
Yes. So he's making uh, golf more like a wrestling sport where he's doing beer bongs at before he takes shots.
right.
People are hitting beach balls back and forth. Uh,
But he's popular enough, and he's bringing in a new audience so that the officials kind of let him get away with this.
exactly. But of course, this makes Shooter McGavin just more and more angry. Whispering under his breath, "You people go back to your shanties."
Yeah,
And as Happy Gilmore signs boobs and whatnot.
yeah. That was a thing. That was a joke in the movie that I feel like they missed a bet. Because yeah, we see at one point Happy Gilmore is autographing a lady's chest.
Yeah.
And because it's an Adam Sandler movie, we have like a close up of the lady's chest, and then like right after that, we see an older lady who's like kind of opening her shirt, like, "Hey, autograph my chest too." And then I feel like they missed a bet by not showing him actually autographing her chest. He just kind of like mimes it real quickly. They should have shot those in the exact same way, and I think that would have been funny.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. That it kind of
Like objectify both the women equally is what I'm saying.
that's what we're saying here on
Yeah.
the podcast. Yes, That's- age ain't nothing but a number. Objectify them. Oh boy.
Right. Well, but I mean, wouldn't that have been funny? You see him like signing a woman's chest, and we're seeing like liver spots or whatever.
Yeah, no, that actually would have been pretty hilarious. I don't know why they didn't do
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah. I feel like they missed a bet there. But
you
anyway,
hear that?
and
You hear that? I'm Sandler. You dropped the ball.
that's right. That's right. This movie could have made 39 million with my suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Keel pops back up. He's got like a nail in his head, but he's like very nice. He's even though that Happy Gilmore accidentally put a nail in his head, Richard Keel's like, "Hey, no, I'm very much a fan of you," and it's just so fun to see Richard Keel, this big hulking guy, play this soft-spoken fellow who's just so nice.
Yeah, like he's cool with it. He's like, no, it's
Yeah,
all
I
right.
got I got a kick out of Richard Keel. I honestly think he was the funniest one in the movie.
Yeah, no, he was a hoot.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
ball, is this your ball? It struck my foot.
yeah, yeah. And I like that they cast Richard Keel against type because usually he's just like the big dumb brutish dude, and it's just fun to see him play this avuncular guy.
It's yeah,
So
it was a big it gave me a chuckle. I did enjoy
it's a
his
hoot.
character. A hoot
It's
and
a
a half.
hoot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So he's doing well on the circuit. He's getting the bigger and bigger checks. We see at one point he's storing all the giant sized checks in his car.
of course. Where else are you going to put it?
Yeah.
So so he's on the
I
rise.
thought that was cute. I will say that was a cute gag.
Yeah, it's a cute gag. So so he's on the rise. He's doing better. Of course, to Shooter's dismay, he doesn't like this. He talks to the president of the organization, trying to get him
Yeah.
kicked out, and the president's like, well, he's not doing anything wrong, and he's bringing in
Yeah.
all this money, so I can't
Even
do
even
anything.
though he is hitting golf balls with an actual hockey puck or I keep calling it a hockey puck, a
Yeah.
hockey stick.
Is that against the rules in the rule book,
I
John?
feel like it must be.
Find it. You go. You go. Look in the rule book. You show me where you can hit a golf ball with the hockey stick.
Oh, okay. You're playing the Air Bud card. Is that what you're doing?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. All right.
The
All
most,
right.
the most precious card of all, the
All
AirPod
right.
card. So of course this means Shooters is going to take matters to his own hands, and that leads us to probably the most memorable scene of the movie,
Yeah.
The Bob Barker fight.
Yeah, yeah. He's at a celebrity pro-am tournament where all the golfers play uh, doubles with celebrities, and Happy is matched up with Bob Barker, who's initially very nice, and he's like, "Hey, I won with such and so last year, and I'm hope I'm get to win again." And then yeah, Barker starts criticizing Happy's game because he still has no short game.
Yeah, and also at this point, there's the angry heckler in the audience that's really getting at Happy. That at heckler being played
Yeah,
by the great Joe Flaherty from SCTV fame.
SCTV freaks and geeks. Again, I was very happy to see Joe Flaherty pop up in the movie, and it doesn't have a whole lot to do, but what he does a wonderful job with.
Right, exactly. So the fact that the him heckling him throws Happy off his game, and Bob Barker being critical of
Hmm.
him, and it drops them down a couple of pegs in the
Yeah,
ranking, and it gets to a boiling point where Happy is like, "All right, that's it. You and me, Bob Barker, let's fight." And then he punches Bob Barker in the face, and then Bob Barker beats the ever loving tar out of him, which is
yeah.
hilarious because you think he's a older gent who can't throw hands, who can't, put these motherfuckers in their place. Nah, son, Bobby Bark is gonna start barking when.
No, go on, please, go
No,
on. This is good stuff.
I don't know why I turned into like a wrestler all of a sudden.
I like you being Bob Barker's hype man. It's
Bob,
very funny.
let me tell you something, brother. When Bobby Bark gets in the ring with you at SummerSlam, these dogs are gonna start barking and they're gonna attack left and right. Woo, loaded. You don't know what's gonna hit you. It's gonna go plinko on your face.
He is going to give you 99 injuries without going over. um, yeah, apparently Bob Barker said he wasn't sure if he wanted to be in the movie. When he learned that he was going to win the fight with Adam Sandler, that's when he accepted the role. It was originally scripted as Ed McMahon, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Ed McMahon turned the movie down because of the vulgarity.
No.
Because Ed McMahon lived his life to the highest degree of morality.
Yes, he was a man. He was a church going man who a lot of clean living. Mr.
Yep.
Ed McMahon.
Yep. When I think clean living, I think Ed McMahon.
You are correct.
It also says here on IMDb when director Dennis Dugan told Bob Barker that a stunt double would be used in the fight scene, Barker insisted on doing his own stunts, saying, "Wait a minute, I know how to fight." And this became a thing for the rest of Bob Barker's life. He said, like, not a day passed on The Price is Right that he wouldn't get asked about his cameo in Happy Gilmore. And it actually had the effect of increasing the fandom for The Price is Right. A lot of young people started watching The Price is Right after seeing Bob Barker in this movie.
Yeah, I mean this fight was so popular, it actually won an MTV Movie Award for Best Fight.
Yeah, I read that. And did you read who they beat?
No. Who did they beat?
Okay, the other nominees were John Travolta and Christian Slater in Broken Arrow.
Okay.
Which I don't particularly remember. I think I remember them boxing early in that movie. Pierce Brosnan and Famke Janssen in Goldeneye. That's probably when they were fighting in the steam room.
Hey now.
And she tries to crush him with her thighs, as she
Ooh,
was wont to do in that movie.
a
And
chihuahua.
and Jackie Chan in Rumble in the Bronx. They beat Jackie Chan for best fight.
The fix is in. The fix is in.
That is crazy. That is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, Jackie Chan
And,
literally puts his life on the line fighting in every movie he's
yeah,
done forever.
and that was like an American breakthrough. And I mean, even in an ironic MTV way, that offends me.
Yeah, yeah, it's I guess you're right.
That is nuts to me. I mean, come on, Jackie Chan in Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get like yeah, that, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, Bob Barker beats Happy Gilmore up. Happy is fined 25K and suspended for 1 month. So it looks like he's going to miss the deadline to buy back his grandmother's house. And oh no, what's going on?
Yeah, because we also find out that the heckler was paid off to heckle by Shooter McGavin because
Right.
Shooter thought, oh, like once Happy loses his temper and beats up and gets into a fight, he'll definitely get kicked out. But of course, he only gets like a bit of a slap on the wrist, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. So Shooter's evil scheme is failing.
haha, thwarted.
Um, and yeah, so Happy doesn't know what he's going to do to earn money to buy back his grandmother's place. So he starts doing Subway commercials, and it was at this point that I realized, okay, they obviously had a sponsorship deal with Subway.
Oh yes, oh yes, absolutely.
Because like like at the beginning of the movie, he like Happy Gilmore's coming back to his apartment. He's like, "Hey, I got Subway," and I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, whatever." And then at this point, like he's like eating in Subway, and he's like, "Oh, well, I have this delicious sandwich," and he like holds it up clearly to the camera. And he's like, "It's just stuffed with meat," and he's doing a little mini commercial, and then he does an actual commercial.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I watching Coneheads again? What's with the Subway sponsorship? Subway loves their sponsorships, man.
Yeah, what's with all these SNL movies and Subway? Like, they really...
I don't know. But when Subway has a sponsorship deal, they get blatant with it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, $5 foot long.
I mean, I remember them, sponsoring Community and Chuck back in the early 2000s, and I mean, those shows were both blatant with it, and they made it kind of a joke. And here, it's not really done that ironically.
Yeah, it's almost like the Wayne's World where they're like, contract or no, I won't sell out.
Yeah,
he holds like, yeah, it's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Where
New print, little yellow, different.
It's like people.
Oh, and they also sponsored Cougar Town. I'd forgotten that. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Wow. Yeah, Subway really got a lot of.
They have good taste in sitcoms. I will give them that. Movies, not so much. Sitcoms, mwah, beautiful.
Chef's kiss.
Yes, but so Happy is doing Subway commercials. He earns enough to buy back his grandmother's house, and then they go on the day. And then he discovers that the IRS is actually auctioning off her house.
Right. And then he said, like, I thought you said we can get the house back if we had the money. And he's like, no, if you have the money, you get the chance to get your house back.
Right. And Happy, because he's not very bright, he stupidly bets the entire amount on his first bid instead of seeing if he could possibly get it for less. And then he's immediately outbid. And oh no, Shooter McGavin.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And then, Shooter's like, oh no, yeah, I've got your childhood home now. And now you're going to have to quit the tour.
Yeah. He basically says, like, I'll give you back the house, your grandma's house, if you just quit the tour. And then as Happy hits him back with, like, I'll go on the tour, and if I lose, you get the house. And I quit, but if I win, you got to give me the house.
Right.
Yes. And then, of course...
And then we have Shooter McGavin say, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
And I liked Christopher McDonald's kind of flummoxed expression. He's trying to think of a comeback to that, and he realizes, no, I've just doomed myself.
Yeah, he realized he like slow. You can see him slowly realize, like, oh no, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said it that way.
Yeah,
He's like,
he goes through like all 5 stages of grief in his face.
you eat shit for breakfast? No.
It's like denial, anger, bargaining, acceptance. That other one that I've forgotten. It
Uh,
goes through all stages of grief.
Sneezy, sleazy, dopey doc,
Yeah, that's it.
and the Santa
That's it.
Maria.
Yes, and Shemp.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
so Happy. So, this is about the time that Happy his suspension is up, and he's going to go back on the tour. So he's like, okay, I got to get serious. I got to go to Chubb's for training.
So he goes to Chubb to work on his short game, and yeah, then they start training at like a little mini golf course, and of
Which
course,
seems counterintuitive to me.
a
I,
little. Yeah, maybe it's like a
yeah,
Karate Kid where wax on, wax off, where you gotta go
yeah,
back to the
okay,
basics. I don't know.
all right, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Look, it's just nice. It's just nice to get more Carl Weathers in the movie.
Absolutely. Oh, baby, we got a movie going.
Yeah, we got a stew going on. uh, Carl Weathers in Arrested Development, people. So much fun.
Hey
So much
now.
fun. He's so funny in that.
Hey now.
Uh,
But yeah.
and then and they of course form a friendship. Happy gets better at the golf, at the putting, and the stuff. He's still not great, but he's good enough. Because apparently you can learn to become a pro golfer in a month's time.
Yep, that's all it takes.
Well, yeah, being a pro golfer is easy. You all could learn how to do it if only you just took a month out of your lives.
That's right. You could be the
That's all it takes.
You could be the next Arnold Palmer.
That's right.
So, but yeah, Chubbs also helps him by saying, when you're doing the little putts, you have to mellow out and be in your happy place. So, of course, Happy thinks about his happy place, which of course is Julie Bowen with beer and lingerie.
Yeah, and then his grandmother winning at the slots, and then a dwarf marching around using a golf club as a horsey for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know. My main thing, like watching that, was like, I hope Julie Bowen at least got to pick out lingerie she was comfortable in, because it's so freaking gratuitous.
It really is. It is like, oh wow.
And they go back to it like a couple more times. It's like, no, this time she's in black lingerie, completely different,
fellas.
So I was just like, I just hope the actress was comfortable.
Yes, oh boy. So Happy is getting better at doing his little putts, and they go back to Happy's apartment, and that's when Chubbs gifts Happy this like custom made golf club he had to make it look like a hockey stick, and he's like, right. Oh, this means a lot to me, thank you. And that's when Happy gives something to Chubbs, and it turns out that Happy found the alligator that took his hand. So he had that alligator beheaded and stuffed and put in a box for Chubbs.
Yeah, we forgot to mention during one of the earlier scenes, Happy's golf ball gets like a gator eats his golf ball, and so Happy like fights the gator and apparently kills the gator to get his golf ball back. They're like, well, why are there stray alligators just roaming around this golf course?
Florida, baby.
Okay, I get it, but maybe clear those things out before you start the game.
Come on now, this is Florida, baby. You in the Gators' land now. The gator ain't in your land. You in the Gators' house.
Okay, all right. So, but when Happy presents the gator's head to Chubbs is so startled and frightened, and having flashbacks. He like falls backwards out the window and to his death.
Yes.
And he is dead. Shades of what was the Rip Torn's character's name in Dodgeball? Was it Patches O'Houlihan?
Patches O'Houlihan. If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Yeah. I was like, oh well, I guess that wasn't quite as original to Dodgeball as I thought. So
nope.
Happy Gilmore got there first. So.
Right. Happy Gilmore got the what's it called? The
artificial hand
athletes.
And the sports mentor dying before his time.
Happy Gilmore, such a trailblazer.
Such a trailblazer, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we owe so much to Happy Gilmore, just in general.
Yes, thank you, Happy.
So we have the big final golf tournament, and things are going. They're neck and neck for a long time, and then ultimately Happy wins. The end.
Yeah. Basically.
I mean, pretty much. No, I wasn't really taking notes anymore at this point, so.
All right, well, I mean, basically, like you said, they're neck and neck. Happy's doing really well. Like, he's improved his putting game, which unnerves Shooter. So Shooter calls that heckler.
Hits him with a car.
On the green in front of everybody.
In a Volkswagen Bug.
Yeah,
which is probably the most humorous car to be hit with. I will give them that. Yeah, because they're just so adorable. It's like Herbie the Love Bug.
Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious. So the dude literally hits Happy with the car, and then he crashes into
this is a Joe Flaherty character.
Yes.
By the way, one other thing I found funny was Joe Flaherty just so desperately wants to be friends with Shooter McGavin. He's always like, so do you want to go out and just grab a drink, hang out after this?
Want to go to Red Lobster or something?
Yeah. Joe Flaherty made the most of this smallish part. He was consistently funny, and I like Joe Flaherty a lot.
He was. Yeah, I mean,
I will say that. Yeah.
It's Count Floyd. The man's an icon.
You cannot go wrong with hiring an SCTV alum.
Oh,
just like ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Nope. Money in the bank.
Yeah.
Money in the goddamn bank.
We don't care what you say, dumb vulture articles. Martin Short is funny.
All right, tangent. I didn't even bother reading that because I knew it's all right, it is just some clickbait thing. This is just something somebody wrote.
I did read it. I did read it because I was just like, why is Martin Short trending? And then it was like, oh yeah, because somebody wrote something stupid about him. And
why would you do that? It's like as soon as I saw it, I was like, all right, somebody absolutely wrote this just to get likes and retweets and go viral. It's like
they wanted the rage clicks. I mean, that's the only reason I can think.
It's like if I wrote something like, here's 10 reasons why ice cream actually tastes terrible.
Yeah,
all ice cream. Ice cream isn't good, and I put that out there, and everybody like, "What do you mean? I like ice cream." And then it goes viral, and people start talking about it, and then I had no use for that article.
Somebody on Twitter pointed out, they were like, well, the upside of this is that Martin Short gets to read all the nice things that people have said about him, but then they were like, but Martin Short isn't on any social media, so he probably still didn't, so it's kind of ironic.
Oh yeah, Dave Thomas from SCTV said that.
I was seeing it. Yeah, okay, it was Dave Thomas was saying nice things. I think somebody else from SCTV was
Eugene Levy, I think.
Eugene Levy, yeah.
I feel like Ben Stiller came to his defense saying Martin Short.
Patton Oswalt. I mean, all sorts of funny people were just like, no, you're wrong. Martin Short is funny.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just seemed like something somebody would do to get attention because they're not a very good writer. So if you can't get attention for actual good writing, you get attention for saying some dopey dumb shit and
some outrageous shit. Yeah, but that's not the sort of attention you want, though. I mean, you don't want the attention that comes from thousands of people dunking on you.
Yeah, you want to type, be better, man.
Yeah, so, look, talk about the things you like. Don't waste time on the things you hate.
Exactly, like this.
I think that's just good advice for life, but I think that's especially good advice if you're reviewing. And I mean, I've found movies I've loved on this podcast, and I've found movies I have not liked on this podcast. I'd much, much rather talk about the stuff I love.
Yeah, just focus on the good stuff. I mean, this
Yeah,
planet is fucking on its last legs, and everything's horrible, and
yeah.
everything's dying. So focus on the good shit. Fuck the
Take
horrible
your
shit.
bits of pleasure where you can get them. Yeah, because life is
Exactly.
horrible enough on its own.
Exactly. So just all you need is love. Love is all you need.
Anyway, back to this movie that I didn't like too much.
Oh boy.
Um,
Okay.
so like, yeah, there's a thing where Shooter McGavin he hits one of his shots and it goes off into the woods, and then we find out that it landed on the foot of Richard Keel's character, and they're doing hardcore rules, so he has to play it as it lays, and he has to hit it off of Richard Keel's foot.
It struck his foot.
Yes, yes, and that comes back into play later when the the car that hit Happy hits like a big tower, and it brings the tower down on the field right before Happy's shot, and so Happy has to shoot basically around the tower,
Right.
and he only has a limited number of shots if he wants to win the tournament.
Right. Exactly. It's because the tower falls over because Happy's fans were climbing on it because they wanted a better.
Oh, that's it. Yes,
They
you're
wanted to
right. You're right.
see. They wanted to see the game better, and
Yeah,
it caused this whole calamity. And he has
yeah.
to. Yeah, he's able to focus, and through Chubb's teachings, and he's able to hit the ball against the tower, and the tower and the ball like kind of like mouse traps down the
Hmm.
sides and through the pipes, and he gets a hole
Yeah.
in one, and Happy wins. Happy wins.
Yay! Yay!
Yay! And then of course Shooter McGavin can't stand it because he's all his life he's been wanting to get one of those yellow jackets. So he
Hmm.
steals Happy's jacket and runs away, and of course everybody chases after him with Richard Keel,
Yeah.
in the lead. Beating him up with a T-shirt that says "Guns don't kill people, I kill people,"
Right. Right.
which is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's pretty much the movie. At the end, they get back to the house. They all celebrate their good fortune, and Happy looks up into the sky. He sees the ghost of Chubbs, the
Yeah.
alligator that ate Chubb's hands, and Abraham Lincoln for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And Chubbs has his real hand back because it's the afterlife, and
Yeah.
you get all your lost body parts back in the afterlife,
Yeah.
apparently. So,
All hands go to heaven.
yep. Yes. So, good news for anyone who's lost their wisdom teeth.
Right.
Uh,
And that's pretty much it. That's the movie that helped build the Happy Gilmore empire.
Yeah, I read on IMDb Bruce Campbell auditioned for Shooter McGavin, which honestly I
Ooh,
want to see that version of the movie. Christopher McDonald did a great job, but I kind of want to see the version of the movie with Bruce Campbell as Shooter.
that
I
would
think that would have been a good movie.
have been it. Ooh,
Yeah,
that piques my interest.
I think Bruce Campbell would have killed in that role, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel again. Like I feel like I know he's like a big cult hero, but I don't know. I
Hmm.
always felt like Bruce Campbell had the chops to do more. Like he could
Oh
have.
yeah, no, he's a good dramatic actor too. Check out the two-parter of Homicide: Life on the Street that he did. Um,
Oh,
Homicide, unfortunately, not streaming anywhere, so it's not easy to get, but you could probably borrow it from the library or something like that. It's in the fifth season.
hmm.
Um, it's a two-parter called Justice, and
Ooh,
he's a cop. It's a completely straight role. There's not any irony in it or any. And Bruce Campbell is awesome in it, and
wow.
that is the two-parter that made me a Bruce Campbell fan.
Okay, I'll give it a
Yeah,
shot. All right,
yeah.
so as far as that's the end of this episode. So as far as this movie goes, I'm taking you're not a fit. You're still not on the Adam. This movie didn't put you on the Adam Sandler bandwagon.
It didn't really move the needle for me
Mm.
for Adam Sandler. I mean, he's done some stuff I like more. I like Wedding Singer more than this. I
Mm.
would say I probably like 50 First Dates more than this.
Interesting.
Uh,
Okay.
I certainly like funny people. I like him more in straight roles than I do in comedic roles, honestly. I think he's not bad as a straight actor.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but I mean this one I didn't see it back in the day because I knew it wouldn't be my thing. And uh, you are right, 1996. Me,
It's
good
not my
call,
thing.
good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah,
You are much happier seeing Kingpin in the theaters instead.
yes, you were happy waiting a couple of months to watch Kingpin that came out like later that year.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this was a pretty enjoyable movie. Like, I'll admit, like, I wasn't a diehard Adam Sandler fan. Like a lot of my friends were that were listening to
Mm-hmm.
his comedy album, then just like laughing their asses off, and because like I remember when he came out, like people, especially college kids, they worshipped him, they loved
Yeah,
him.
he had a big college following. I mean, probably still does, for all I know.
I would say
I
so.
think I was just a shade too old to get into Adam Sandler. Maybe if I'd been a little younger, he would have spoken to me a bit more. But
Yeah,
I was like in my, I was probably in my 20s by the time he hit SNL, because he didn't come on SNL until like the early 90s. So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for me, this movie came out. I had just got into college when this movie came
Hmm.
out, so I was like right in the pocket. So like,
Right.
yeah, so I did get a kick out of this. Like, he is. This movie is. It's definitely not as silly, goofy as Billy Madison, which kind of gets absurd in a lot of places. This one is a little bit
Yeah.
more. Actually, honestly, this movie is like a little bit more mainstream and straight through than Billy Madison, but it still has like absurd moments here and there. But like, I don't know. I remember kind of liking it, and I still kind of like it too. Like, it's not. I mean, as far as comedy goes, it's not like on my Mount Rushmore or nothing. But like, I still got a good sophomore chuckle here and there from this film. I'll admit.
Okay.
I'm man enough to admit that.
All right. All right.
Yeah, and
Yeah. For me, it was like, I rated it 2 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. I'm just like, okay, I guess I can see the appeal if you're into that sort of thing. Just not for me.
I'd give it 2.5. Like
Okay.
but that's just me. What can I say? I'm a silly boy. That's easy to please.
You're a silly goose.
Yeah. And
So,
yeah, that's the episode, guys. Thanks for listening again, as always, to
yeah.
our goofy ramblings and what have you.
Hmm.
As always, you could follow us on any listening device of your choice, any streaming platform, and on Twitter. We refuse to call it X. You can follow us there.
Yeah. No, X is dumb.
Yeah, it really is. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
So dumb. At SNL Nerds Show. And as always, you can
Yes.
follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky at Darren Credible. DARIN Credible.
Yes, you can follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram and the Blue Sky at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic. By the way, do you think it's kind of weird that we ended up doing 2 golf movies in short succession like this?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, that wasn't the plan. We just decided to do this because when Bob Barker passed away, uh, otherwise we probably would have spaced it out a little more. But it just occurred to me in the middle of watching it. I was like, oh yeah, this is like the second golf movie we watched in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, what can we say? We love golf.
We really don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it really worked out that way. It's serendipitous, is what it is.
I guess it is. Well,
Absolutely. And as always, you can donate to our Patreon at non-productive.com.
yes.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
yeah, and I guess that's about it. We'll get back to you in a bit for our next.
Yeah, we're right now. The plan is we're taking a break next week, just kind of extenuating circumstances. There's some stuff going on, and we just decided it would be best to take a week off.
Yeah. So, but we will come back. We will be back, bigger, better, badder, stronger. We're not going off into the night, good sir. We shall return.
I don't know if we're going to be bigger, badder, and stronger. I think we're probably going to come back and we'll be more or less the same as we are now. So if you enjoyed this, come back. You'll get more of this sort of thing.
I was trying to build up expectations and.
Well, don't.
Okay. Okay.
Don't. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, we just finished 251 episodes. We know what this is now, right?
It's not getting any better. This is what it is.
I mean, Look, we've peaked already, right?
Oh, yes. For sure.
Yeah. This is all just the long, slow tumble downhill now.
Good gravy. Oh, wow. You're bumming me out now.
But hey, if you have suggestions on movies you would like to see us cover, please let us know. Reach out to us on the social media, on the Facebook, on the Twitter. Somebody wrote to us this week and said, "Oh, you should try and cover the movie Bottoms while that's still in theaters."
Oh, that's right. I didn't know Punky was in that, but yeah.
Yeah. Punky Johnson is apparently in that, which was news to me.
I've heard a lot of good things about that movie. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it.
I'm hearing some buzz. So,
all right.
Yeah,
All
maybe,
right.
maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We'll figure it out. That's the nice part of taking a week off is we can regroup and figure it out and plan out the rest of however long this damn strike lasts.
Mm-hmm. Pay your writers and your actors.
And your writers, and don't be like Drew Barrymore.
Woo!
Drew, we're disappointed in you.
And we just said he just said glowing things about The Wedding Singer, and you go ahead and do this?
Yeah. I mean, I still like you as an actress, but that shit ain't cool.
Yeah, you broke my heart, Fredo. You broke my heart.
Knew it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. Anyway, well, we'll see you in a couple weeks. So until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.